Welcome to the EarthWorks podcast, where our team will share the jargon of carbon from many of our turf friends from the past 30 years.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another EarthWorks podcast. I am joined by Dan Francis of Wildwood Golf Club in Middletown, Ohio, which is about halfway between Dayton and Cincinnati. And I'm joined on the bottom of the screen, if you're watching, by TJ Collins, who's at Legendary Run Golf Club in Cincinnati. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I know it's been a long attempt trying to get this on the books. Getting three people squared away who have young children and jobs and such can be difficult. So I appreciate you guys jumping on a Friday. How is everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Hanging in there so far this season. Everything's okay?
So far, so good. We could use a little bit of rain.
I think I hear a lot of that from people. Dan, same for you?
Got no complaints. Golf course is firm and fast. It doesn't look pretty, but it's playing really well.
Okay, that matters too, right? Well, we'll just jump right into it. We're going to call this the jargon of Cincinnati, aptly named by Mr. Francis. We'll just go into it. Dan, TJ, both of you, take turns. But if you guys just tell me how you guys got into this business, where you've been along the road, how long you've been where you're at. Tell us a little bit about your career. Dan, if you want to start us off.
Guys, I'll make it brief. Cut my teeth playing golf at about eight years old. Always been a big boy, always been rock'em sock'em. Ritalin was a bust. I was able to channel, my attention span to that stupid little white golf ball. Fell in love with the game. Fell in love cleaning up the backyard with mom. Got the opportunity to go to school at Rutgers University. Humble brag shout out there. And took an internship with TPC Sawgrass during their master renovation of greens, tees, and fairways at 15, 16, 17. It's all a blur. That was a long time ago. Transferred back through the TPC network to the TPC club here in Ohio, which was always home. Family may or may not have followed a girl who is now my wife. Bounced around Cincinnati, playing the market, learning some few different things, anywhere from third man on the totem pole to an assistant superintendent, and a couple nice public golf courses. But wanted to see the private sector and worked for 4 years at the Heritage Club here in Mason, Ohio. This is one of two assistant superintendents. Before taking a leap of faith, both Wildwood took a leap of faith in me, and I wanted to test my skill set as well to be their golf course superintendent. That was 5 years ago. This is my sixth growing season now as a Class A superintendent, and showing some good success. Golf courses, we're celebrating 101 years. I don't know if we can celebrate that, but last year we were 100 years old. We're 101 years old now, and looking to the future.
Nice. TJ, how about yourself?
So I started working on golf courses when I was about 15, started at a municipal course in Hamilton, which is not far from where Dan works now. Moved to a semi-private club called Walden Ponds, was there for a couple of years, really kind of cut my teeth and realized and decided this is what I wanted to do for a living. From there, went to Ohio State ATI, did an internship at Pinehurst No. 2 and Muirfield Village Golf Club. After that, went back to Pinehurst No. 2 for the 2005 U.S. Open and the 2008 U.S. Amateur. Then was an assistant superintendent at Pine Needles and Mid Pines, both courses for, I think it was 2-3 years, something like that. Moved on to a superintendent job at the club at Old Stone in Bowling Green, Kentucky for 2 years. Moved to Washington, D.C. for 6 months. Decided that wasn't for me. Then moved up to Long Island for 2 years at the Garden City Golf Club, men's club, for 2 years. Came back to Ohio after that. Became an assistant superintendent again at Camargo for 2 years, and then got my first superintendent job, or second, I should say. And then have been here for going on, this will be my fourth season. So midway through season number 4 for me.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about Legendary Run as a club.
So Legendary Run was built as a public golf course, or as a private golf course, back in about 1995. And with the economy dropping off in 2001 after 9/11, it became public. And when I became superintendent in 2019-20, rounds were right around 39,000 rounds a year. This year, we're on pace to break our COVID year. We're probably looking at 53,000 rounds we'll do by the end of the year. So it is a very
18
busy
holes.
place all the time.
18 holes.
18 holes.
That's a lot of golf.
That's a lot of divots and a lot of ball marks.
Yeah. As comparison, Dan, you're 18 holes as well, correct?
Yes.
Fully private, semi-private?
Fully private.
What kind of rounds do you guys do?
Absolutely. Was in oranges, my man, Mr. Collins. We're gonna be somewhere in the world of 20 to 25,000.
And that's quite a bit of golf too. I mean, not a lot, but you hear some crazy numbers, low numbers sometimes from people too. You mentioned being at Camargo. About how many rounds would you do at Camargo, you think?
Oh, probably 10 to 15,000 a year, and that might even be high.
Sure.
I mean, there were several days when you would hardly see anybody there.
Yeah.
So it was quite the drastic change for me to come here, and now you see people in the dark here.
Sure. Yeah. And Dan, obviously, like you said, you're kind of in the opposite end of the spectrum, but also obviously with the age of the club. Do you guys have a designer that you give credit to as 100 years ago?
You know, Chad, I've said this to a couple guys that asked. I think Wildwood would offer, something pretty special if somebody can figure out who shaped or designed this property.
Gotcha.
We have no clue. I've worked with the Middletown Historical Society. I've asked ChatGPT, and they speculate, but their history and knowledge. ChatGPT's history and knowledge only goes back so far. You look at our website, Art Hill's redesigned this off in the 90s. But when, as I cut cups, I can tell you the 4 golf holes that he touched, and that's it.
Yeah.
So no, we don't know. We started as a 9-hole club by a very wealthy businessman, as Middletown's an old steel town. Started as a 9-hole club and grew into 18.
Okay. Well, one of the things I really wanted to discuss, both of you guys are active on social media, while different personalities, but both are certainly active. I kind of wanted to really touch on how you use social media as a turf manager, as a manager at the club, as a face for the club, and obviously as a face and salesman for yourself to the other industry folks that you're connecting with. So, Dan, you've really made it a big priority the last couple of years. Being out there, you've built a lot of really good friendships, both online and both in person because of it. Could you just kind of highlight maybe what sparked that, what made you want to do that in the first place, what benefits, what drawbacks you've seen, and then maybe bring it all the way back around, and can we use it to help kind of reignite this industry and get some youngsters in it? And TJ, I'm going to kind of have the same follow-up question for you. Dan, we'll have you start out.
Yeah, no, sure. I couldn't tell you how long I've been on Twitter, but I jumped on there once and saw a bunch of guys talking turf, and back to where we started this podcast, it's always been something that I've been passionate about, and so much to learn. And all of a sudden, my network got bigger. Sliding into DMs and asking the questions as a young assistant superintendent to continue to push myself forward or find different angles to play. How can we do things differently? Stretching dollars in a different way. What are other guys saying and doing? And then also too, as I play a lot of golf, but it's not often that I leave Wildwood. So the opportunity to see what other people are experiencing has been beneficial. When you mention youngsters and everything like that, I can't say that people are joining Wildwood Golf Club because they saw Dan Francis on Twitter, but as our membership trends younger, which we are seeing, especially from the influx of COVID, uh, the younger generation is there. Behind the scenes, what you guys don't see, and as we touch on social media, is that we have a platform as a private club where we communicate to our membership, and I try to touch base there, every 30 days or so. Member-owned facility, I want them to know how I'm using their dollars and where it's being applied. And then also too, just some of the day-to-day operations. I'm no stranger to offering a pro tip, during tournament weekends when, where to hit the ball and what to expect on some of the back nine greens as you're coming down the stretch through, Amen Corner here at Wildwood, if you will. But it's been a lot of fun. The guys that I've met, the connections that I've made, the invites that I've received, and then also too, guys passing through. We're 75 runs right by our golf course, 75 north and south, and a lot of travels pass through, and guys want to stop and get the nickel tour or stay and play 9 to 18 holes. And as a result, I've just made more friends. I had the opportunity to bounce a lot of ideas off of different people and continue to grow and learn.
Yeah. Any drawbacks that you've noticed? And if there aren't, great, but a lot of times somebody puts themselves out there like that, and there can be a drawback or two. So just curious.
Sure. I mean, you're going to find the keyboard warriors, right?
Yeah.
Guys that may not disagree with me, might not agree with me. What I put out there on social media is not the end all, know all, but it's a way that I find success or like to do something. And on the flip side of that too is we've got so many silly idiosyncrasies in our industry. Love to highlight those because a lot of what we do is silly and it's fun and inspiring. So, we talked about the younger generation of memberships. How about the younger generations of turf managers as well?
Yeah.
If they can see some of the fun and find the humor in what we do and be just as passionate about this industry as us men are.
Yeah, no, for sure. TJ, how about you with the social media thoughts?
I would say I certainly don't use it nearly to the extent that Dan does, and I use it far differently than Dan does. For me, a lot of it is I like to steal ideas. I mean, there's a lot of people that are smarter than I am that are doing some really great stuff, and I try to find things that I think that will help us here be better and serve our members and guests better. I think that because social media is so vast and the turf community is so large now with people all over the world on the same platform, you're able to see what people are doing in other countries. And I think it's a wonderful thing. I also think there are certainly some potential negatives to social media. It can get you in trouble. You say the wrong thing, or certainly the way my humor works is I'm not funny to everybody. I'm funny to a lot, but not to everybody. So I try to dumb it down when I do post on it, just to keep it plain and simple. I really don't ever post anything about our golf course or what have you, because in our experience here, all that does is open us up to unwarranted criticism and unnecessary criticism. So, there's always somebody that thinks they can do your job better than you can. And, I don't need any more headaches other than the 55,000 rounds we're likely to do this year. So sure. I'm good on that front.
Yeah. Dan, you kind of hit on the end there, like, the youngsters coming into this industry. Are either one of you able to get some of those bodies? High school students, college students, younger kids in general that take an interest in it. Are you seeing that come into your shop and want to work?
So I have a kid who has worked for me since I started here, who decided last year he was going to go to turf school. So he's enrolled at Eastern Kentucky University, and I was able to help him secure an internship at Muirfield Village next year. So we're trying real hard this summer to kind of get him ready as best we can so he can shine when he gets there and get him some tournament experience.
Yeah.
But overall, we've been lucky with high school kids here. We've got 3 or 4 different high schools in the area. As a lot of people have found with high school students, there's vacations, there's sports, there's this, that, and the other. So scheduling has become, a pretty creative process to get enough people here to facilitate what we need to do on a daily basis.
Yeah. How many would you ideally run with on a daily basis, and what are you working with?
In a perfect world, I would probably run with 20, 25 guys on a daily basis. We probably have in the summertime anywhere from 15 to 20 on a daily basis. But I mean, as every superintendent knows, there's always something else you could be doing. I mean, you could keep 100 guys busy 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So
No doubt.
there's always something else you'd like to do, but you can't necessarily get done. So you got to prioritize.
Yeah. Dan, are you seeing similar things? You getting an influx of high school or college students wanting to work and make your scheduling life difficult?
College, not so much, but we have been able to tap into the local Catholic school here in town, where years past I've been with the football team. I wish that could all work for me, but that's not the case. But here recently, a lot of lacrosse players coming in, and I just try and make it a fun environment, and those boys start sharing the word. I will. Currently, it's me plus 6 men, and this is the most we've had on staff here at Wildwood, for the last 5 years. So the idea of keep it simple, stupid is definitely a reality here. When you've only got 6 men on staff and a total of 3 operating vehicles, these guys aren't running around all over. Cross training is important. Making sure that everybody can do just about any job on any given day. Spent this morning training a young man this is his junior summer, I believe, on the step cut mower, and he's graduating his way up to mowing greens. As far as students and turf students go, I'm not in a position to provide housing or competitive pay to some of the other markets, but what I have been invited to do is I've spoke to OSU ATI a couple times and have the opportunity to laugh and shed our industry in a good light with those guys to inspire them that way.
Yeah. So ATI, could you explain to me, and sorry if I'm the naive one, what is the difference between the Ohio State ATI and Ohio State University? These are separate programs, correct?
Correct. So the ATI program is a 2-year program. It's located in Worcester, Ohio. And the Ohio State program is in Columbus, and it's a 4-year program.
Okay, so the ATI is an ag-based satellite campus?
Correct.
Okay. Of not just turf, I assume.
No, they've got several different programs: horticulture, arboriculture, you name it, across the board. They've got all kinds of different programs. And I don't pay that close attention anymore, but I think they're trying to kind of merge more with main campus to offer, better all the way around.
Okay. All right, very good. What's on the docket? What are you guys working on? Any big projects this summer? Goals you're trying to do? TJ, I know you were kind of doing some interseeding when we had spoke last. Anything on the docket? Anything you're planning for?
For us, we've got, continued interseeding, trying to get newer varieties of bentgrass throughout the golf course, just because we've become overrun with poania and heat don't mix well. So, we've had a tendency to lose some turf in areas that we'd rather not. Now, we've been fortunate this spring and early summer so far that we've been rather dry. So, more water is worse than not enough. But we've got bunker projects lined up, being a course that's almost 25 years old now. We've got bunker faces that are starting to cave in, and, we've got some liners that are going to get installed hopefully this summer, if not in the fall. Kind of reshape our bunkers, because what we found is, the style that we have where the sod goes all the way down basically to the base of the bunker isn't going to hold up with the amount of play we have because we've got so much sand splash built up that, why rip all that down and put sod back only to have to do it again. So we may change the styling of our bunkers to where it's more of a flash face, which was going to require liners with, the amount of rainfall and thunderstorms that we typically have here, but haven't so far this year. And then we've got a new tee that's likely to get built in our 5th hole. It's probably going to be converted from a par 4 to a par 5, and then change our 18th hole from a 410-yard par 5 into a 410-yard par 4. But that probably won't take place until the winter time when things slow down golf-wise and we're able to get out there without getting in people's way.
Are those changes based on what you're seeing out of players?
Absolutely.
410 is not very long for a par 5, but you're making these changes due to just the play and how long people hit the ball.
We pay very close attention to the pace of play here. We try to get people around in 4.5 hours. It's an issue that Legendary Run has struggled with since its inception pretty much, and it's amplified by the fact that we have so many rounds every day. So we have a lot of customers, but what we don't want is a lot of unhappy customers. So we're constantly trying to find ways to improve the guest experience without, certainly we don't have the resources to spend millions and millions of dollars to change things and move a lot of dirt. But if there's areas where we can improve things and speed things up, that's what we try to do.
Okay. Dan, anything for you guys coming up?
Not necessarily. We went through a cart path restoration, if you will. We did a bunker project 3 years ago. We went from 36 bunkers to 27. Proper drainage, clean sand. We got rid, unlike TJ, we got rid of the sand flashings and did grass down, so that there was less maintenance for us, and then also too with the small crew. How can we utilize some of the new machines that are out there to ride these bunker faces to keep us cleaner on a day-to-day basis? Last year, celebrating our 100th anniversary, we kept the golf course pretty playable, with the exception of a few projects here and there. This year, we're diving into a lot of drainage work, a lot of air movement, reclaiming some sight lines from a few tee boxes. Which, that's just tree work in and of its simplicity. Reclaiming the right side of some tees, reclaiming the left side of some tees where we've had some overgrown or some underbrush that come up too high. Outside of that, man, no, not too much. It's nice just to have a year of fun and events and manage a golf course as opposed to a project.
Sure. Something that kind of just came up in my mind is a lot of people, jobs are tough to come by as lead superintendents a lot of times. I think you guys know that it's tough sometimes for an up and comer to find that right fit. And it takes several tries oftentimes and not to get defeated, but it just does. So both of you guys have come from different areas of golf. You'd mentioned being at Heritage, Dan, which is, pretty high end private club, kind of suburbia type club, correct? And then now you're where you're at. What was that transition like for you? And then same for you, TJ. Mid Pines, Pine Needles, Muirfield, Pinehurst. And then down to now 55,000 rounds of public play, daily fee. Dan, what was that like? In case we're speaking to a younger audience that is maybe ready to take that change and give something else a shot. What was that like? What were the challenges?
I think it was just realizing and finding your thresholds. What can you tolerate? What can the membership tolerate? For me, it was budget. Budget, of course, changed. From a very high-end private golf course to a member-owned, simple, smaller club. So how to stretch that dollar further, but yet still provide and manage the expectations from our membership who often don't go off property to see other golf courses. So, they're playing Wildwood day in and day out. And so if Wildwood, maybe lacks playability or lacks color or something like that, it's helping them understand why, especially if they haven't been elsewhere to see, hey, look, this is happening all over. So communication has been key, which, as an assistant superintendent, the buck didn't stop at me. Now it does. And, so working with membership and having an open line of communication and understanding that there's only so much that we can do with what we have. And then, making it work. No different than when we were talking about social media and the use of Twitter, learning different ways to accomplish different goals has been valuable. Using growth regulators to our advantage because we're a small team, to help us keep up with growth and manage growth and playability. Yeah, I don't know if that really covered it, but it I wasn't ready as a superintendent because I had never been one for the politics that come with it, right? And being a people person and being the face of your product, being seen, communicating successfully, and then also the hands-on of the budget and how to make it work across 365 days.
Sure. TJ?
I would say, the biggest change for me has been, having to learn how to grow grass differently. The way that I was brought up and all the places that I had worked kind of one way or another grew grass kind of the same way. There wasn't a lot of fertility inputs, didn't really need to be, whereas here, we got to fertilize all the time just to keep up with traffic and divots and ball marks and things like that. So, my first year, I really struggled with learning or having to change the way that I thought and managed turf because it wasn't working. And I had needed to increase my fertility a lot. I would say to the younger crowd that's listening, when you start looking for superintendent jobs or, even assistant jobs or what have you, don't chase the money. It's different for someone who's married with kids and things like that. I understand that, but you should be trying to chase, in my opinion, happiness. Go work for someone who's going to take care of you, that has your best interest at heart. To me, who you work for is a lot more important than where you work. I mean, my resume has a lot of great clubs on it, and I work for some really great people at those clubs. I've been very fortunate in my career, but the name on the resume gets you only so far. But it's someone that's going to teach you what to do and what not to do is equally as important.
But I mean, you had to learn some budget restrictions, I imagine, too, the both of you, right? Like you said, you're seeing things, but you just maybe can't act on them. You have to increase your threshold of tolerance.
Absolutely. At other places, you're able to take care of kind of everything that you need to take care of, and you don't really worry about the money aspect of it. Here, you see all kinds of things that you'd like to take care of, but you just kind of can't. So you've got to prioritize and really think, not necessarily what's important to you, but what's important to the customer that's playing here.
Yeah. Kind of a strange lead into this one, but I've always been curious, no offense, TJ, but mainly for Dan. But Dan, what would Dan Francis do if he was not on a golf course for a living?
Oh, man.
Curveball, right?
Yeah. I would have to work with people, and I probably could not be in an office. The success that I've shown, maybe, I don't know, marketing, promotions,
hype man,
I hate to say sales,
promotions, hype man,
hype man, yeah. Somebody's radio sounds fun.
Radio?
I don't want to say sales, but I love the interaction with other people, right?
Yeah.
And so, but speaking to you, I mean that brings its own challenges as well. You know, life on the road or a big market, or you know, where are we going with sales? But yeah, I like that. But I'll be a hype man.
I think you're a good hype
I
man.
don't,
I think Dan, TJ and I will start a band and you can be our hype man. You ever thought
Cool.
about it, TJ? What would you be doing?
If I wasn't modeling, I'd
I wasn't
probably
modeling on the side.
right. I'd probably be a chef somewhere. I really enjoy cooking, but I really enjoy cooking for other people as opposed to myself. Like I'm fine eating a frozen pizza. It doesn't bother me a bit. But you know, if other people want to eat, I'm happy to cook for them. So I think probably a chef for me.
Are you a good cook? I'm assuming then too.
I haven't had any complaints yet.
So why do you want to go to Jeff Ruby's if you could just cook for Dan and I and you could have a frozen pizza?
Because I can't cook like that.
No? Okay. Well, good luck with being a chef then, I
And
guess.
I don't have access to that kind of meat either. They don't have that at Kroger.
No, that's very true. Yeah, no, this just kind of all reminded me. We were supposed to do this after the I think last year in the playoffs. I'm sure that's still a sore subject for you Bengal fans, but
You need not bring that up again, Chad.
need
Thank
not
you.
bring it up. Come on, that's a good rivalry, right?
It's turned into one for sure. They were just jawing in the paper today. Travis Kelsey and Jamar Chase.
Didn't your mayor have something nice to say?
No, he did not.
I think your mayor had a really good line. If you could remind me, was
I can't even remember what he said, to be honest.
oh, I think you're lying. What did he say, Dan? What did your mayor say?
I think he said the Cincinnati Bengals are two-time AFC North champs. The FCC Cincinnati are leaders in the clubhouse and haven't lost a game at home. The Cincinnati Reds are on a 11, 12 game streak right now. That's what he was talking about.
I think he called it Burrowhead Stadium, but you know, whatever you guys want to remember.
Right.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear. I don't read the paper.
Bold predictions for the year. You guys gonna make it to the Super Bowl?
Hard to say. I mean, just depend if they stay healthy, it'd be a tough team to beat, but you got to stay healthy first.
Dan, you think so?
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it.
I want to eat chicken wings every Sunday, bud. I want to eat chicken wings every Sunday and cheer that team on.
Got it. Well, TJ, did you still have a lightning round set up?
I do somewhere. I don't. That was eons ago. A lot of time has passed since I've made that list.
Oh, what a bummer!
But if you've got one, fire away.
No,
I might be able to find it.
I might be able to find it. He says. No, it's just nice to get to know people a little bit more personally. So, why I asked about what you might do for a living.
Right.
You know, personal life. What's I know, Dan, you've got some little girls, and a wife. How old are your kids, Dan?
I have a 9-year-old who will tell you she's 9.5, and I have a 5-year-old.
Okay.
Now, for all the superintendents listening out there, let me introduce you to this headache. I have a Labor Day and a Memorial Day baby. My wife hates me. Planning birthdays around a turf manager on Labor Day and Memorial Day is top notch, fellas. Top notch.
Yeah, well done.
So,
do you find
two beautiful girls?
Do you find work-life balance achievable? To spend time with your family?
Yes, it is achievable. Through social media, I've met some great people. The idea of work-life balance, was once said to me that it's never going to happen. The golf course is always going to win. Now, that being said, when I'm at home, let's be present at home. when I'm at the golf course, let's be present at the golf course. Um, Not to sugarcoat it, and I don't know if we need to mark this podcast explicit or not after what I'm about to say, but my beautiful wife put it best. She said, go to work, handle your shit, and get home. And so when I'm here, how can we make the most difference? How can we be the best that we can on any given day? Then let's lock the doors, let's close the gate, and go home. The do not disturb feature on my phone has been valuable. I try and take my watch off and take my phone and put it on the steps. And I don't try to do my best not to pick it up till at night. If my wife listens to this, she's going to call malarkey on everything that I just said. But just when I'm home, not being here,
Sure.
and being attentive to my ladies, trying to unplug from the golf course, which it's hard. It's hard. I did a podcast earlier this week with a couple fellas. We put so much into this living, breathing thing that isn't ours, right?
For sure. And
So,
you're never going to finish your list. You'll never get it all done.
But you will check off many things from that list, and there is always tomorrow.
Yeah.
There is always tomorrow.
Do you find your membership is behind you in that?
We're a very family-forward club. The children are welcome here at the club on any given day, any event. You'll find a gallery on 18 more often than not for any tournament. Any given morning, I will see that the bunker was played in by children. From the evening events that were at the clubhouse. And then also too, right? That's the future of Wildwood. That's the future of this game. We want them to enjoy being here and have fun being here. So let's include them. Let's make them welcome. My Saturday will be here at the club with my youngest daughter to enjoy the tournament that's being held. And it's good. Yes, they like to be included here. I like to have them here. They enjoy golf cart rides and cruising through the sprinklers.
TJ, what's family life like for you?
I would say, well, my wife and I say wife, we're officially getting married this summer, actually, in August. We're going to fly out to Napa to get married in Napa, and then we're honeymooning in Hawaii. But no kids.
Congratulations.
Dog, thank you very much. Dog, couple cats. I just want to touch on what you talk about with work-life balance. I think work-life balance is what the balance is for the particular person.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's, if it's 50-50 and that works for you, that's great. For me, it's not. For me, it's, probably more closer to 70-30 work, home. I'm even at home, I'm thinking about work, which I'm not proud of, but I try to be as present as home as I can be. My wife works off hours, so we don't see a whole lot of each other, which is probably a good thing at times, but it works for us. So I think the moral of that story is just find what works for you. I mean, it doesn't need to be 8 and skate. If you need to work 12-hour days to be happy at work and then go home, that's fine. I mean, whatever works best for you.
I would agree with that. I think somewhere that message got lost that like you can choose your own work-life balance. It's not a blanket statement.
Right.
Some people look at that as that's a lazy thing. You chose the wrong industry. You can't achieve that. And then I think we all look at it as no, you can. Just maybe it looks a little bit different.
I think somewhat it's been talked about so much that if you don't have the work-life balance that other people think you should have, that you're doing something wrong. You got to do what's right for you.
Sure.
There's no right or wrong answer to it.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy, and
Do you think that's an
whatever
issue
keeps you employed and makes you happy.
Yeah. Do you think that's an issue that has plagued the industry a little bit though? It's given it a name of, oh, you're overworked or underappreciated or anything like that. I only ask because you look around and it seems like enrollment is down in schools, interest is lower in assistant superintendents. What do you think? Did we cause this?
I think there's a lot of guys that come from certain work trees, if you will, that have been taught a way to work. And there's nothing wrong with that. I come from that tree, and I think it's the mindset or the thought that you have to work X amount of hours in a day to achieve success. I don't subscribe to that at all. I mean, if your members are happy or your guests are happy, go home. If it's raining, go home. You don't need to stay till dark every day just to stay till dark.
Yeah. Well, I think that'd be a good segue into a last question, if you will. And what do you think we got going for us in this industry, and what's our biggest detractor at the moment, Dan?
I can't wrap my head around the whole rollback thing. So
The
that's
what?
not attractive, but we also the whole roll it back
Okay.
shenanigans that's happened. I can't wrap my head around that. I mean, guys are going to find a way to play golf and play big golf courses. But that doesn't also answer your question at all. I think some of what we just touched on. I think some of what we just talked on is a big detraction, right?
Yeah.
Guys that want to just work 8 hours. We all can agree that that's perhaps not the case. And then, the kids that are skating out of school and want big bucks. TJ touched on it, and TJ's resume shows it. Mine does as well. So much of the experience, seek an experience, seek the education that you can learn. Yeah, when I was at TPC Sawgrass, if you wanted something, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
When you're at those big clubs, you want to accomplish a goal, you got it. That's not always the case. It's definitely not the case here at Wildwood. Patience is key. Education and communication to why we want these things done is key. And then the attraction of it is it's the sunrises, it's the sunset, it's the passion that we all have for this game, and the need and the love to play the sport. And then also too these universities that are pushing it forward and driving it forward and getting kids inspired, and leading children, leading kids. I'll do it here soon in the month of July. I'll spend a day with the junior camp at Wildwood. They thought we cut cups with a shovel, and teaching them the fun and the different things that we can do here. And more often than not, there'll be a couple of kids that say, "You can go to school for this?" Yes, absolutely you can. And just make it make turf management great again. I said what I said.
I like it. So will you be doing that in conjunction with the GCSAA's First Tee program? I think not the First Tee, First Green program that they've been doing. I think they've been grabbing, elementary age, maybe 4th, 5th, 6th graders and doing little science camps, if you will, on the golf course. Will you be involved in that, or is it just a club event?
It's just one dedicated day from the junior league that Wildwood hosts to grandchildren and children of our membership. And then I do believe we open it up to the public for that week as well, because it's an opportunity to showcase our club to the parents that drop them off, to the children that learn how to play golf here. And it was just a day with Dan. And junior campus is not a full day by any means, but I'll line up different machines show them how we top dress a green. They get a kick out of me driving across the green with a spray rig or the broom and stuff like that. And it's how to change a cup, proper way to repair a ball mark. When is the right time to fill a divot? Always. General etiquette and upkeep of the golf course and what goes into it. Never with the First Tee. I've been a part of that, and I could see how, we could probably jump on board with that and invite a school to the junior camp as well. We'll have anywhere from 25 to 30 children here, but we haven't done the different stages of the First Green event. where the kids can learn about sand silk play.
Sure.
Maybe there's an automated mower on property or anything like that. And, but the opportunity would be there.
Yeah. TJ, what do we got going for us? What do we not have going for us?
I think there's been a lot of spotlight on the game of golf recently with the PGA Tour and Live and, the other world tours kind of joining forces, take that for what you will. But I think the attention is good, no doubt. Be it net positive or negative, it's still attention. I think, the recent surge of female volunteers and the female participation, especially at U.S. Opens and things with tournaments set up, I think that's a great thing. I think this industry for a long time has been male dominated, and I think that having another gender with us is great. And I'm not saying that they haven't been around forever, but more and more participation, young, old, men, women, you name it, is a great thing. So, I've got 4 young high school girls on my staff, and they're great. I mean, I would trade most of the guys I have for them. So
you hear that a lot from people.
Yeah, they for the high school girls I have, all I got to do is feed them popsicles and just let them do their thing, and they're fine. So I think that's great for us. As far as negatives, I think just kind of breaking some of the stereotypes. I mean, it's is it long hours? Yes. Is it always long hours? Oh, some places it is. It's not long hours everywhere. But I think this industry can be very rewarding, but you either love it or you don't. And if you don't love it, it's probably not going to be for you forever. So,
yeah. How do we get people to love it?
If I had that answer, I'd be a rich man, Chad.
Yeah, no, understood. Any parting thoughts from either of you gentlemen? Don't be boring.
I know. Go Bengals. Go Reds. Great time to be a Cincinnati fan. I mean,
Yeah.
Downtown is electric.
Dan?
We're good in everything right now.
I don't want to repeat myself, but I'll dig deeper into a parting thing, a parting comment, if you will. This is a sport that's played outdoors. It's dictated by Mother Nature. It's going to be different every day. If this game wasn't different every day, it wouldn't be a lot of fun to play. So to any players or golfers that might be listening to this today, outside of the turf world, take it with a grain of salt. Each day is going to be different. And best of luck to you.
Well, guys, we are coming up against it. I appreciate your time. Sorry for the long overdue chat and then our technical difficulties to boot. But hope you guys have a good weekend. Hope you guys continue to have a successful season. And I will see you guys soon.
All right. Thank you, Chad.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Chad.